Boom, boom, boom. What's good? You. What up? What's good? Chilling, man. What up? Mark, what's good? Ray Sean, what up? Sam, Ronnie Q, what's good? What is the worst cannabis album? I don't know. I ain't listened to all his albums after 2000. You can start with his first one. That to me wasn't good. Favorite Teddy Pendergrass sample? Um, Probably love TKO. That one. So I like most of the songs that they sample that joint. Escape and
What's up?
was good.
What y'all talking about?
Favorite Teddy Pendergrass sample?
Oh, Birdman. I mean, not Birdman. Ghostface's Kame.
Okay. I love TKO. I love that. I love the song and I like the samples that the song that was sampled for that.
Especially when Ahmad used that shit.
Ahmad, right? Ahmad, Escape, um, and so many others. Kenny Lattimore. Yep.
Okay.
I saw Mark in here. I don't know if he's still here.
Yeah, shout out to Mark. What's good?
Yeah. Favorite Janet Jackson sample? You're not gonna be asking us favorite samples all night, yo.
Yeah, I gotta get up early in the morning too.
Drake and Kanye squashed their beef. I saw that.
I have a
Did it? Did
feeling
it?
that's the Watch the Throne 2 that Kanye's talking about.
Drake and Kanye?
That's what I have a feeling.
What about Jay Z? Are you throwing Jay Z in there?
I don't think it's gonna be with Jay. I don't.
It's gonna be Drake and Kanye.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like this was all set up from the beginning. I don't.
That ain't gonna be the same though, man. You gotta have Jay on there. It ain't gonna be the same. I mean, the way that they were talking about each other, I'm like, yo, these niggas is ready to fight, and all of a sudden y'all just squash the beef like that.
Never
You
be the
know, how
same
much of, how
again.
much of a beef was it to begin with? Then
That's a good question.
I don't watch Wendy Williams show, so I could care less. Worst Kanye album to me is that Wyoming shit that he came out with.
You got your list ready?
My list was easy. I didn't have to even write it down. I guarantee you, there's gonna be something on the list that you like, and I'm gonna look at you like, what are you talking about? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't really have to think too hard for my list and shit.
No, it's not. It's not hard. Now, if it was 2000s, 2000s probably would have been easy too. 'Cause I didn't like a lot of the R&B in the 2000s, so
Yeah, 2000s easy shit.
yeah. 90s would have been difficult.
I agree on that. Because even the bad quote unquote R&B albums have a few
Right,
good songs on it.
right.
Never be the same again.
Worst album, Nostradamus or King's Disease. Uh, I don't like neither of the King's Disease albums, so I'm going with not with that one.
Damn, I have to go with Nostradamus.
No, I don't think that's his worst album at all.
It's not.
It's not great either though.
It's not his worst album, but compare that to the twos, and yeah,
Why you could have said Untitled or some shit or Hip Hop is
I'll
Dead.
I'll say Nasir.
Yeah, Nasir, you should have said that.
Untitled's actually good to me. I actually like that one.
You would like it.
Never be the same again.
Nostradamus has some joints. I don't love but it's playable.
What album? This album?
Nostradamus.
Uh, okay, let me close and lock this door, and then we are good to go. Y'all ready to hear about the greatest R&B album of all time?
Oh man.
Oh, here we go. Silk Sonic. What's good, you too? How's everyone doing this lovely Tuesday night? It's your boy Reg in the building. Got my homeboy Try in the building as well.
Bro.
And today we are finally going to talk about Silk Sonic's An Evening with Silk Sonic. This just came out last week, Friday, November 12th, 2021, on Aftermath, which was under Atlantic. Okay. Aftermath starting off right. I see. Okay.
Right.
Produced by Bruno Mars and D-Mile, who D-Mile, he's pretty much a producer. He worked with cats like her, and he also worked with people like Lucky Day, unfortunately Justin Bieber, cats like that. This was guest appearances include Thundercat and Bruno Mars and shit. So, oof. And y'all know how I feel about those two. So, yeah, Silk Sonic. So, how did you get into Silk Sonic or Bruno or Anderson? I don't know. We can just do that shit,
I thought we discussed Bruno Mars on here before, right? No?
No, we never discussed Bruno.
Oh, we talked about doing like some of his album reviews, but Bruno, I want to say was the if it wasn't the Travis McCoy song, was it Billionaire? Then it was might have been the B.O.B. Nothing on You track. I think that's how like I first heard him first, and then when he came out with the who was it, Hooligans, Doo-Wops and Hooligans album. That one I got for Christmas that year. I think that was like 2010. I got that for Christmas, and I thought he was a great singer. And I thought he was Puerto Rican at first. I thought he was Spanish, and Fun Out Ladies. He's like Hawaiian. and he had a different type of swag to him. He had like this Elvis Presley hairdo, and I think that was like his like one of his icons. It was like Elvis Presley, and
Yep.
he could dance and he could sing. He could produce, like, all the traits it takes to have to be a legend, and to wear many different hats in the studio. And I've been a fan of Bruno since the first album. The second album on Orthodox Jukebox was great. The third album was great. What was that 24K 24K Magic.
Hmm.
Anything that he's done has been great music. Each album sounds different from the last. Uptown Funk, when he did that with Mark Ronson. Um, Everything has been great. I got the Bruno Mars um concert from his last concert, or the 24K Magic concert. I got the T-shirt for that. I didn't actually go to that tour. My mom had went, and she ended up picking up that T-shirt for me for that tour. And he's been I feel like he's accomplished a lot in such a short time. I mean, it's been like over 10 years. He's been in the game, and he's just everything that he's dropped has been legendary, and his performances, and you know um Anderson .Paak is like, with him. I think I discovered Anderson was on the Compton album. When we talked about that, that was like the first time I heard him, and seeing him on the he did like an interview with DJ Vlad, and I forgot what festival it was. It was like a festival he had performed at, and I was watching it, and he was like playing the drums and the piano, and he was like multi talented as well, like Bruno, and again, like, he could rap, he could sing. I ended up getting Malibu. That was the first album I got from him, and hearing, like, Heart Don't Stand a Chance, and they played a lot of his songs in like commercials and movies and stuff, and then Oxnard. End up getting that. Well, I think the anniversary is today for that album, actually. End up getting that one. Ventura, that was another Christmas present I got. End up getting that album. Every album that these cats came out with was great. Like, they really set the tone for R&B, and there's a lot of R&B I don't care for right in this era. But when it comes to Bruno Mars and Anderson, like, they're definitely at the top of the game, and they're making the best music, and to see both of them come together and make an album is like, yo, it's like the best of both worlds, truly. Like, this is definitely like the two best cats in R&B that's making the best music. So, you know, just to have them, come together and do like a joint album, and it's great. And they don't need a bunch of features on the album, and they just they can just carry a whole album on their own, and it'll be legendary. So,
Definitely. Now I'm gonna be quite honest. Before 24K Magic, I was not a fan of Bruno Mars. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real. And it was just because I don't know. It was just like his music, that Nothing on You kind of
mhm.
that vibe. I was just
You
like,
don't like B.O.B. It's not Bruno.
no, because I heard like the Jukebox album or whatever. I didn't care for
Mhm.
that. I'm gonna
You
be
didn't like
real.
that?
Nah. And
It's a
yeah, I
good
don't
album.
like B.O. I actually don't. I don't like B.O.B. Yeah, no cap. I can never get into B.O.B.
Mm.
and stuff like that too. So I'm not even gonna cap on that. But other than that, when I heard 24K Magic, I did like that. I liked that one just because I guess because at that time everybody was not everybody, but a lot of people were trying to like get into like having always like a New Jack Swing.
Right.
Like people would like paying homage to like more of the '90s music and stuff like that too.
Right.
But then Bruno, he just made that shit his own in a weird way and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but Anderson .Paak on the other hand,
Hmm.
I loved him from the gate. To be real with you
Yeah.
guys, y'all remember if y'all remember, me and Kuji did a review on the Malibu album a while back ago
Wow.
and stuff like that because he was the one that actually got me into Anderson .Paak
Right.
and stuff too. So shout out to Kuji, by the way. Keep your
Hmm.
head up too. So yeah, he was the one that got me into Anderson .Paak, and I just always liked Anderson because of the way like he always had like a very soulful sound, but he made it very contemporary at the same time too,
Right.
and shit but like this um the Oxnard album alone, I fucking love that album.
Hmm. Hmm.
Malibu was dope,
Yeah.
no worries. Like he's just an all around great artist, great singer, and like dope
Right.
rapper too, and shit like that too. So yeah, man, I've always had love for Anderson. Like my love for Bruno kind of came a little later though, but
Right.
Anderson was just like right off the gate and shit too. So
Hmm.
hell, I might even jam that Malibu album later on and stuff too. So
Oh.
yeah, man. So let's talk about how they actually got together. So pretty much from what I looked up, they met each other in 2017 when they were touring for Bruno Mars' 24K Magic Tour. And so they quickly became friends, had like a musical liking, and they wanted to work on the project together and stuff. And so pretty much they had started recording a little bit in 2017 and shit like that too. But they both got very busy with their careers. So I guess they took a few years back into in order to like really formulate the sound and shit. Then they announced that they were working on an album together under the name Silk Sonic. And little trivia, Boosie Collins was the one that gave them that name and shit too.
Hmm. Yep.
And shit too. So yeah, man, like Bootsy Collins, y'all should know who he is, funk legend, play from everybody from James Brown to George Clinton,
Right.
Groove is in the Heart. Everyone knows people know him from that. Definitely gotta talk about some Bootsy on this channel one day.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yep.
yeah, man. So yeah, like I said, you know what I'm saying. And one thing I liked about this album was the fact that they didn't really want to, and they said in the interview they didn't want to like discuss a lot of heavy issues like the pandemic
Right.
stuff. They want to really make like a feel good
Party album.
party album and stuff like that. Because even like in the feel good albums, there's always that one person that has to have that one heavy track and stuff like that too. Which I don't like. I said I don't mind that, but I definitely like an album like take itself, not take itself too seriously and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say. And so they dropped the first single, "Leave the Door Open," which that pretty much swept the whole world on fire and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Everyone was loving that track
Hmm.
and whatever and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and the album was so anticipated. They actually announced that, oh, we're gonna drop it like 2022 and stuff like that because they wanted to make some new songs, but they wanted to I think they had like a scheduling issue from what I looked up. So then they announced it for November 21st, 2021, which I'm not gonna lie, and this is me being very honest. I personally thought that was a bad idea
Hmm.
because when certain albums get rushed, 9 times out of 10, is not gonna be good.
Right.
And there's plenty of albums that either got rushed or tracks got scrapped and whatnot. And mind you, like Lupe's Lasers is perfect. That didn't really get rushed, but the label issues played a part in that shit, and we all
Right.
know what happened with that.
Hmm.
So that's why I was kind of looking at myself like, okay, let's see how this goes. 'Cause I'm not really going to judge the album right away. So yeah, man, I guess this is like a two-part, not like a two-part because we're going to talk about the worst 80s R&B albums after because this definitely gives me like 80s R&B vibes and whatever. So
Does it?
I mean this album,
Yeah.
like it gives me a lot of vibe. I'm gonna talk more about. I'm gonna talk more about that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Q. We did a whole trash review on lasers. So that
Did we?
shit.
We did like
Yeah, we did lasers.
I can't remember.
Wait,
Shit.
either I did it solo or we did it together. But
I
it
can't remember.
it, it was a
In so
bad
many
review.
years.
Yeah, it's forgettable and
Yeah.
shit. So. But yeah, man. So this album has 9 tracks, not 16, not 20, but 9 tracks. Let's get this shit started. All right, track number one is a Silk Sonic intro. Nice way to start off the fucking album and stuff like that. Just Bootsy being the fucking narrator.
Right.
So we're getting y'all ready for this shit. So yeah, I fuck with it.
I thought it was good. Being that Bootsy's a legend, everybody should know him by now. And him, he gave the name of the group, and why not, start off the album with having the same person that gave the name for the group, on it, and you got like some background music playing and the horns, and Bootsy comes on as the like the narrator for this album, and saying to the fellas, I hope you got something in your cup, and ladies, don't be afraid to make your way to the stage. And just right off the bat, you already know it's going to be like a real funky um party type of album, and that's what Bootsy was all about. That's what Bruno Mars and Anderson is about, and I thought that the intro was great.
Yeah, definitely. And so, which brings us to track number two, "Leave the Door Open." Um, I mean, this one was a very good song. A lot of people love this track. Like they still love this track too, because just pretty much has the two of them telling the girl they love them, and to come to their heart anytime. That's what I think what they mean by door. It's like
Hmm.
enter my heart and stuff like that too. So definitely dope track.
A great record, a great single. Um, I think Bruno Mars was more the star of this track than Anderson was,
I agree.
but uh, the groove of it, the bass line, the whole melody, it has like that old school R&B feeling, and that's a timeless record already. Like I even now I don't get tired of hearing it. And I like the Grammy performance they gave for that song. That was definitely one of my favorites on this album, and I thought it was like this is the type of single that got people anticipating this album. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely,
Like it's this is Bruno, like this could fit on any Bruno Mars album.
I agree.
Anderson did his thing on there, but this is the type of song that you want out as a teaser single for an album like this, and I think it's a great record, and I love the chorus, and Bruno sang it beautifully in his falsetto voice, and it's great record.
Definitely. I left something in my bathroom, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
let you go on ahead. I'll catch up.
Then we get to track three, "Fly Is Me," a dope beat. Love the horns on it. You got Anderson Paak rhyming on this track. Again has like that 70s vibe to it. I think Anderson was the star of this track now. And he's saying, FLY, you ain't never seen nobody this fly. It's like we back in school. I'll spell it out, children, and then you got like the little bridge and the breakdown of the song, and definitely a dope ass track. Again, it's one of my favorites on this short ass album, but definitely a banger. And I like the way that each of them take turns. Like you got Anderson can start off a track, Bruno can start off a track. Any one of them could finish the song off, and I think it was balanced. Like the previous song, Bruno to me was the star. This song to me, Anderson was the star of this track, and it was great. Definitely love the production on this.
Yeah, I definitely hear you on that. This one definitely had like a time feel to it. Like
Mhm.
I can see Morris being a very strong influence when it came to Bruno Mars and stuff like that. Style and look wise. and I can definitely seen him emulating him on this track. And yeah, Ronnie, I was gonna mention that like Big Sean
Really.
co-wrote this track. Yeah,
He's big. Anderson sounded like a better rapper than Big Sean on this.
that's what I'm saying.
You know? Wow.
Yeah, man, like he can't give this good shit on his albums and shit. But
Nah.
okay, but, but yeah, this Fly As Me was very funky. Love it.
Hmm.
All right, now my favorite track after last night featuring Thundercat and Bootsy. Man, this track right here is definitely a vibe. My favorite track off this whole fucking album.
Hmm.
Well, the short ass album, excuse me, and stuff like that. Because Thundercat, Bootsy, Anderson, Bruno, that's just a match made in heaven
Okay.
and stuff like that. I definitely felt like Bootsy was the star of this whole track right here, shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's crazy too because this song actually it wasn't the first time that Anderson worked with Thundercat because they actually collaborated with one another on Ty Dolla Sign's Track Six song and stuff like that too. So
Hmm.
and I think this song pretty much tells a story about them trying to meet up with this girl they met last night at a party or a club or whatever, and
Right.
you know how that shit goes. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, my favorite part was when that bridge hits and stuff, and it's like
Hmm.
nah 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 da 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 da. Like definitely reminiscent of a lot of P Funk
Right.
from the '70s, especially during like the Mothership Connection,
Hmm.
maybe the clones of Dr. Funkenstein era kind of albums and shit too. So definitely my favorite track off this whole album.
And I like when the female that was talking in the intro of the song, and she sounded like sexy on the track with them, and like
Yes,
it felt like I was listening to a P Funk track. Like it had
exactly.
the P Funk grooves and the bass lines and the beat, and you got Bootsy on the track with Thundercat is an underrated artist. I loved a couple of his last couple of albums, and he was dope to hear on this track, and Bruno and Anderson did their thing, and definitely a great track, real melodic. It was dope.
Definitely very dope. Next track is a Smoking Out the Window. Very, very, very dope track. This was actually the first song that they wrote together. From what I looked up, and
Oh wow.
it wanted to create like a song, like an in joke, when motherfuckers, smoking too many cigarettes, backstage and shit like that, and it just turned
Right.
into a fucking hook. So you know how that
Right.
shit goes.
Hmm.
Very, very sober. I love the video to it too. It looked like they were like in like this Soul Train s kind of show
Hmm.
or whatever. So I definitely like the song.
Yeah, this was dope. I like the video. The beat was nice. The bass line again it had like that '70s old school groove to it. You got Anderson saying just the other night she was gripping on me tight, screaming Hercules, and I like Bruno's part where he's like he comes in and he says, "This bitch got me." Yo, that shit was fire.
For real.
And this was like a balanced track. Like both of them killed it, and I think the production is like the star, like for a lot of these tracks. Like just it, like when you hear like a lot of these instrumentation on the songs, like it just puts you in that '70s mood, and it goes well with Bruno Mars and voice, and for Anderson Paak as well, and it was great.
Yeah, very great. All right, now we're gonna have Put on a Smile. Now this just pretty much slows the whole album down and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It has like a very melancholy kind of love song and shit. With talking about how pretty much talking about how you dating somebody and stuff like that, and they don't want to see themselves as players. They just yearning for that love, yearning for something special and shit like that. So that's pretty much what I got from this track.
A great ballad. Love the pianos on this, the horns on this. Anderson saying, if I could turn back the hands of time on my Rolly, I would. I would have. I would take times I would have spent time all the time knowing my baby good. And yeah, it was a great track. You got Bruno on the chorus. Definitely a solid ballad.
Yeah, very solid ballad. All right, now we're gonna have 777, and this track right here was like another funky kind of track. You know what I'm saying? Nice little drum, nice bass line.
Mhm.
Definitely a nice little fucking track right here. I love it.
It definitely had James Brown vibes. I could definitely hear some. This is like if James Brown was alive, I could hear him on this track.
Yeah,
Like it was real funky. The beat reminds me of like old James Brown, like from the Payback, Big Payback, and the bass line was funky. You got Anderson .Paak saying I'm about to buy Las Vegas after this role, and it was a dope track. Definitely enjoyed it. One of my favorites on this album.
definitely. Track number eight, Skate. Love, love, love this song. This is the second single that came out with, and it was like a nice little feel good cookout kind of track right here and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The video again is pretty good with them motherfuckers in the skating ranch and shit. So
Mhm.
definitely love this track.
This was a dope track. Definitely enjoyed it. Real groovy. It had that roller skating, at the roller skating ring type of vibe to it. The horns, the bass line, the beat. Bruno Mars sang it beautifully, and yeah, I like the video as well. It's just like a feel good roller skating jam. You know what I'm saying? And this was dope.
But very dope. All right, next track, and the last track is called Blast Off. Nice way to end off this project. It just mixes everything on this album, like psychedelic, rock, funk, all into this one and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much, just it's just them saying goodbye. Just blasting off and whatever and shit like that. Definitely very very nice trippy way. Excuse me, to end off this album and stuff.
Definitely a banger. I enjoyed this one. This might be one of my favorites as well. And the beat, the bass line, for the funky guitars. I think Bruno was the star of this track too. And I love the chorus. Let's dip off to a magical place, blast off and kiss the moon tonight. And that sounds like a Bruno Mars chorus. That sounds like something that I could hear on any one of his albums. And this was a dope track to end off this album.
Definitely agree with you on that. All right, and that's all of the tracks off this album. Now, is this album as good as people anticipated it to be? Personally, I think so. I think the album is a nice little blend of R&B, soul, funk. It features, the songwriting was very good, instrumentation wise. It was very nice. Like Bruno and Anderson show great chemistry with one another.
Right.
And when Boosie Collins got into the project, he definitely added his own funk flavor to it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm seeing like a lot of people saying how it's like a new sound or whatever. And I see this album more of like a celebration of black music, especially like what, because both Bruno and Anderson
Right.
always have this thing when they always paying homage to the R&B singers back in the day and shit like that. So
Mhm.
it's more like a celebration than anything new and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
if people say this is new, if you have to say Thundercats Drunk was something new and shit like that too. But
Right.
like I said before, this is a very dope album, and I'll give it a 5 nights.
I don't think it's a new sound. If you listen to Bruno Mars, he has a lot of these songs that has that sound. Same with Anderson .Paak. I just think they I feel like them coming together was they didn't compromise their sound. They didn't compromise their sound, you know, um for this album. Like pretty much did what they wanted to, like what we've come to expect from them. I thought it was a great, funky, soulful album, and the production was great. Bruno and Anderson was great, and having Bootsy Collins, introduce the album and the group was a great thing too. And I think it's a great album. I'm not gonna say it's a five mic classic just yet because I didn't grow up on rating albums like that. It's gonna take some time, but I definitely give it a
That's right.
4.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's not get carried away because it's Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. It's a good album. I'm not afraid to call it five mics just yet.
definitely. Like when I give my 5 mics, I'm not calling it a classic just yet. It's
Right,
just
right,
quality, no weak tracks or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
right. And I wanted a longer album. Like, there's classic albums, that had like, 9 songs, but I just felt like we needed more. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
because the way
I
they
I
made
need
this
to hear
album
more.
out,
This feel like an EP. I need to hear more tracks on this album.
exactly, because the way they made this album out to seem like it was going to be like some, at least a 20 something second album and shit like that, 20 song album, whatever that's what I meant to say.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, before we get into the main event, I gotta go check something downstairs right quick
Anything.
because I know Try's gonna say an album that I like and shit. So I'm gonna get
Yeah,
ready to brace
probably.
myself.
It's,
Yeah,
I already
I gotta
know.
brace myself.
Oh boy. Yep. No, it don't have to be 20. It could have been like 14, 15 tracks. I don't need a 20 track album. 15 would have been good. The album is dope. I'm not fitting to call it a classic when it just came out. I mean, if people want to do that, that's on them. I didn't grow up rating albums like that though. You know, if you don't find yourself bumping it in the next 6 months, then how much of a classic is it? You have to keep saying that to yourself. Like, if you're continuously playing this album, then we'll see. The best Mariah album to me is I love Daydream and Honey. I think those are her best two albums. But she has more than one classic. Emancipation of Mimi was great. Her first album was great. Emotions, that was a good sophomore album.
All right, now that I got my green tea, got my medicine, let's hit this.
Okay.
All right, so do you want to go first or should I?
I'll go first.
All right.
Number 5 for me is Janet Jackson, her debut album. I thought it was pure trash. Don't like it. I think the best thing about that album was the album cover with her in the water, and her hair is like wet. That's like the best thing about that album. Um, those are not like for Janet fans. Those are not even mentionable. There was no song on there that I care for. I don't like nothing about it. So that's my number 5.
Okay. My number 5 is the Gap Band 5.
Oh wow, you got 5 on there of all the volumes. Why you pick 5 and not the latter ones?
Well, let me be real. Let me be real. I don't necessarily dislike this album as much as the four other ones on this list.
Wow.
However, and I mean a strong however, this it's a perfect example of an album that tried to do what Thriller did in a weird way, you know what I'm saying? And just
Mm,
follow a lot of trends too.
right.
Because as much as there's some good songs like Party Train, there's trash like Jamming in America, which I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Because that,
Right.
like we mentioned recently, that was when a lot of motherfuckers
Mm-hmm.
was trying to make their own Master Blaster jamming
Right.
and shit. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this to me was a very transitional album because personally, I feel like they got back on their shit with six. Personally, they weren't touching Gap Band 3, Gap Band 4. They weren't touching
No.
those, but
No.
they upped the funk meter, in my personal opinion, a little bit higher than they did on Jamming. So
Right.
that's why I have, no pun intended, Gap Band 5. I thought.
They got a couple stinkers that could be on this list.
Well,
Um.
you know.
Wow. Number four for me is an album that we talked about, and I regret discussing it on my channel a couple of like maybe 2 3 years ago. We talked about it. Uh, I don't like it. I don't know why I have it, but it's Sheila E. Romance 1600.
Oh, you
I do
you're
not like
bullshit.
this album. I do
You're
not like this.
bullshitting.
This album
You're
is trash.
bullshit.
This album is trash. I do not like it. I'm sorry I got this album. I do not like this album. And shout out to Eric, 'cause I know Eric recently got this. You know, he got the Japan pressing. Don't like this album. There's one. The only song I like on it was Love Bizarre. That's the only song, and not because it was a part. It was a played in the movie Crush Groove. That's to me is like the only song on here that was good. I don't like this album. I don't like nothing about this album. Um, I don't see how you can say that this is some of Prince's best production. I don't. I think you're nuts. I don't. I don't hear it. I think Vanity Six album was better than this,
That it
and
was.
and the first three time albums that he did, I think those are way better than this album. Um, even Jill, what's her name?
Joe
Jill Jones.
Jones.
I like Jill
No,
Jones' album better than
nothing's
this
touching
album.
that.
Do not
Nothing's
like this
touching
album
that.
at all. The best thing about this album is the way that Sheila E looks on this album. That's the best thing about it. That is the best thing about it. And I don't even get the whole like what is this shit that they wearing? Like what are they like in the fucking what do you call this the medieval times? Not even medieval times. It's like some Roman Empire shit that she's wearing. I do not like this album. I think it is pure trash, and I only kept it because Sheila E looks gorgeous on this album cover, and it is produced by Prince, so it is going to be worth a lot of money. But this album is hot garbage. Her first album was way better. It's a classic. This album is no good. And when I was thinking about this list, I'm like, yo, this got to go on first. But it's number four on my list because there are three others that's worse than this album. Okay, that's hard to believe, but there are three albums ahead of this shit. So yes, so this is my number four.
Touche. All right. My number four is going to surprise a lot of people.
Mm,
Aretha Franklin's Who Zoomin' Who album.
okay.
Okay. I love Aretha, but I'm not going to lie. This album was probably like the first Aretha album I just looked at like, damn, I did not like this one.
Wow.
And this was like, I think, one of her highest selling albums.
Hmm.
Like, I hate that song Freeway of Love. I hate that fucking on the free. Oh my god. Who's zooming who? That I love that thing. I love that track.
Right.
But then she had this one song where she was speaking this island accent. I think it was the push, either the push or ain't nobody ever had love. I'm like,
Hmm.
what the fuck is she doing?
Lord.
Another night again that had like some medieval kind of beat and shit like that too. I didn't care for. It was only like two songs I generally liked. That was Who Zooming Who and Integrity. Sisters are doing it for themselves.
Right.
It was cool hearing her and Annie Lennox, but at the same time, Annie should have did it. They could have just kept that for herself, in my opinion.
Right.
So, I love Aretha, but when it comes to the '80s Aretha, give me Aretha 1980 and the Jump to It album. Everything else, well, almost everything else, because I didn't
What
hear
about the
everything.
the song she did with George Michael? You like that one?
I mean, I appreciated it for what it was because I love both George and Aretha, but it's not like a go-to when it comes to like duets from Aretha.
Right.
I kind of preferred the duet that Aretha and Levi Stubbs did on the Jump to It album over that one.
Mhm.
Re- Rest in peace to both to all Aretha, Levi, and George and shit.
Right. Okay, I got number three is the Gap Band 8 album, straight trash. I don't like nothing about this album. The first track, Big Fun, was garbage. Like for them to like try to pull off like a Jamaican type of track and nah, that was bad. Get Loose, Get Funky. I don't like none of these tracks. Keep Holding On. Nah. This was one of the worst ones. I said like after 81, they went downhill. Like this is one of the worst albums ever. The album cover is garbage.
Wait a minute.
Um hmm,
Didn't Outstanding come out in '82?
as a single. But yeah, but three and four was their best albums to me. Like
Uh,
that was on four. You know what I'm saying?
okay. I was just
That after 80, what remember they the last time they went platinum was for that album. They ain't gone platinum or gold since then. Except for the greatest hits album. You know what I'm saying? The album the album is pure trash. Do not like it. And I said I have three others that's worse than the Sheila E shit, and this is one of them. And yeah, there's nothing I would play on this album.
damn. Well, I'm about to piss you off.
Oh boy.
Number
What you
three,
about to pull out?
Cool in the Gang's Emergency.
Oh man. Wow.
This album, I felt like I was in emergency listening to this album.
And I have that album too. How could you even say that?
Fuck, you know, I was never a big Cool in the Gang fan and shit.
Wow.
I felt like there were like three different groups. The jazzy, like with a slight funk.
Mm,
That's the first Incarceration. The uptown disco influenced R&B, the second and the most well known, which
mm,
I grew up on that version too, so I'm not going to like talk so much shit about that.
mm.
But the third, where do I begin? This was the yacht rock, post disco, drum machine funk,
Mm.
JT wannabe sex symbol era, and this was the perfect album. Oh my! First of all, this was their best selling album. First, I'm like,
It had some big hits. Cherish,
has some big hits.
big hit. Fresh, that's probably the biggest hit on this album.
Trash.
Wow. Those two songs alone were like on there. That's like some of their greatest hits.
Like, as much shit as I would talk about Joanna, I would listen to that over Cherish any day.
I don't
They
got
had
that
a song
album.
called Missile. Oh, they would use these new. It's like again, all these '80s R&B trying to like add all these genres: new wave, post disco, soul, pop. And that's just how I felt about this album.
Yeah, but for seven songs, I will bump that album over the Gap Band 8 over Sheila E album. I thought it was a better album. Now I think I want to say I feel like that's their last relevant album because everything else after that I didn't listen to. But they had some big hits on that album for seven songs. I'm like, this shit is way better than the Gap Band's 8.
I feel like that's the new Jada Kiss now. Well, see, because Gap Band 8,
Mm.
I admit, it wasn't touching 6 or 7 and stuff like
And
that.
they wasn't good either. I mean, they had some tracks that was it was decent, but nothing memorable from those albums.
Yeah. Because, like,
Wild
when I
and
think of
Peaceful is great. That's a great Cool in the Gang album. I
that's
have that one too.
probably my second favorite album from them. See, that's an album with a good mix of funk, the
Right.
jazz, the R&B. Yeah, the
Mhm.
jungle boogie, the Hollywood swinging. Life is
Yes.
what you make it. Hell, give me
Mhm.
Light of Worlds.
Right.
Their
That's a
best
classic.
album. Their best
That's a
album,
classic.
in my opinion.
Hmm.
But you have the Cool in the Gang fans. They always want to hear Ladies Night, Too Hot.
That's a great track.
Yeah,
I love that
Okay,
joint.
okay. Ladies Night, Too Hot. Okay, I'm cool with those. I'm cool with those. But those are not touching Jungle Boogie, Little Children. You don't have to change. those aren't touching
But
that.
it all depends on whatever you like the band from. Do you like them in the 70s or the 80s?
See, I like them in the 70s, but I don't mind the early, like when it comes to the everything up to 81.
Mm-hmm.
I like the what's the album? The Ladies Night album. I love that one.
That was great. I have that one too.
Yes,
That
I
was a great
love
album.
that one.
Yeah,
Something Special was okay.
that was good too.
That was tipping point. That was tipping point to okay, trash. But then when you get to the As One,
Wow.
that's where you saw the
You don't like
cracks.
Celebration?
I don't mind Celebration, but I felt
Mm.
like see with that was their Earth, Wind and Fire light songs. I felt like
Mm.
Earth, Wind and Fire could have done something with
Like
that
that?
better.
Right.
Like they did with Let's Groove.
Yeah.
Because look, Celebration was just kind of like celebrate
Mm-hmm.
good time. It's as a chorus, it's kind of dry. With Let's Groove, like Let's Groove tonight.
Right.
Like it's just more like, and I don't mind. I don't mind bumping to Celebration, but musically, it's not. It was just them repeating, trying to follow the trends and shit. I always look at it
Right.
as that.
Right. I think like with a lot of those groups and artists, you gotta. It all depends on whatever do you prefer them. Like I prefer Janet in the 90s,
Okay.
with the exception of Control and Rhythm Nation. I think she made her best shit in the 90s, and then well, at least like her best consistent stuff was the 90s to me. Um, Gap Band with them from the 70s up until 81. Everything after 81, I didn't care for. Same thing with Luther. To me, he made his best shit the early Luther. When he got in the 90s after Power of Love, I wasn't a fan of his albums. Teddy Pendergrass, his best shit before he got paralyzed. After he got paralyzed, did not care for none of those albums. You know what I'm saying? So I think it all depends on the artist and whatever. If they're around for like 20 something years, whatever do you prefer them in?
Well, see, but then you have artists that drop stellar works in different eras, like say like the Stevies and the Princes.
Right.
Like, believe it or not, I kind of put Hotter Than July in his top five albums and stuff like
Yes.
that, and that
I love
came
that album.
after the classic period.
Right.
But then when it comes to Prince, oh man, like you have albums from like 90s, like 92 Love Simba, I would put maybe like
Mhm.
top seven.
Right.
And then you have the golden era, like probably like the Purple Rains and the
Yeah.
Sign of the Times. You probably put like the top three or top four and
Top three.
shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Earth, Wind and Fire is another example and shit too, because
Right.
well, their classic period is from 73 to 81. So most of my favorite
Right.
albums come from that era.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. So but yeah, but we're Cool in the Gang. It's just like I'm just regulated to listening to them mostly in the 70s and maybe slight works in the 80s. And I mean slight, like
Right.
before 80s R&B became quote unquote 80s R&B, the
Right.
flashy years.
Right. Right.
Because once a group starts using drum machines and heavy synths, and y'all always known for using like horns and the bass
Mhm.
lines they're in trouble.
Right. They were trying to adapt with the times. That's what it was.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
keep telling motherfuckers. I keep telling motherfuckers that, but y'all motherfuckers listen to me like, oh, you just hate, you just hate.
So all right. So let's say Tony comes out with a new album. Are they gonna use live instruments or are they gonna use like fucking garage band and shit?
Well, Raphael always used live instrumentation in his albums and stuff too, so
Right.
it would surprise me if he uses anything different. So I don't expect
Mhm.
anything less.
Right.
Because
I mean
mind
they
you,
they
oh, go
used they used beat machines in the past. You know.
ahead. They did.
So are they gonna change up their sound from now or are they gonna what I mean? Just stay with what they know. And I think some artists try to do that to stay relevant, and sometimes it didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
You know.
Um,
Um,
it's on you, bro.
Number two, I got the Jacksons. A lot of Jacksons on here. Other than Michael, it wasn't. '80s wasn't really a good period for the Jacksons. The Jacksons, 2300 Jackson Street, pure trash. I don't like anything on that album. Michael wasn't a part of that album.
Wow.
Even if Michael was on that album, he still couldn't save that album. Like the songs were bad. Like Victory had his issues, and I almost put Victory on the list, but I do like some songs on that album, even though that wasn't a great Jackson. That's probably like the last relevant Jackson 5 album, but 2020 Jackson Street was garbage. Like there's nothing good about that album. The videos suck, the songs suck. Everything about that album was terrible.
You know what? That was close to making my list, believe it or
Hmm.
not, but
Right.
I'm gonna save my thoughts on that when we talk about that album.
Oh Lord. We actually
Let's
talk about that album?
not any because I want to talk about like maybe tomorrow.
Right.
I want to talk about some of the good Jackson albums before,
Right.
but that's gonna be the probably 2022 because I
Okay.
want to. Well,
You should make it
late.
2023 since it's called 2300.
Let me see how I'm feeling. I'm gonna see how I'm
Mhm.
feeling between before the year's over
Okay.
because some of the tracks I'm not gonna lie, I actually did not hate as much as I did.
Really?
That's all
Wow.
I'm gonna say. Now,
Wow.
2300 Jackson Street, that's the best song, period. Of course.
I don't even like that.
Wow. Wow.
No. Nope.
Okay. Well, okay, so what number are we at? Number two?
Yes.
Let me see. I got oh,
Mhm.
Denise Williams. Let's hear it for the boy.
Oh my God. Are you
Oh,
serious?
yes.
Wow.
And like I said, when I do these lists,
Mhm.
I like to listen to the album because sometimes there's a lot of albums that did not make the cut because
Right.
I'm just like, okay, this wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I can
Right.
get used to the different sounds.
Mhm.
This album, this fucking album, even George Duke did not like Let's Hear It for the Boy. And he produced the
Wow.
song. So I'm not
Wow.
tripping. I'm not tripping when I say I don't fuck with that.
Mhm.
Like this is why she needs like no this is why I like her work with George Duke, but
Mhm.
her and Maurice White and Charles Stepney, rest in peace to both of them. That was the dream team right there.
Right.
But I decided to give this album a chance, and oh my god, this was just
Terrible.
this is gonna be a review, another trash review coming up.
Oh boy. Wow.
Yeah, very soon.
Mhm.
Um, Black Butterfly. Oh, haunting me. Like it was like some very how can I put this? How can I put this? I don't even know what to really call this sound.
It's a pop song.
It's a it's like manufactured pop, flea market
Mhm.
pop
Yeah.
and stuff.
Mhm.
And this whole and I love Denise Williams. Vocally, she's good on this album vocally,
Mhm.
but it was I don't know what it was. Jesus fucking God, this album was just not good.
That song, Let's Hear It for the Boys. I like the song, but that from that movie Footloose to me is overrated. I don't see how people say it's a classic movie. I'm like, for what? Like, I mean, I've seen Kevin Bacon in other better films than Footloose. To me, I don't think it's a classic at all. I'm like, because I think in the movie like the whole town had band dancing or some stupid shit like that, and I'm like, come on.
I never even
The,
seen Footloose.
what one of the most overrated '80s films ever to me. I don't never care for Footloose.
Yeah, I never seen it.
Yeah, you're not missing much. And they played that song like at least 10 times a day. That song was played in the movie, was played on MTV like crazy. You know. Number one, I got another Janet album, Dream Street, pure trash. Both of those reviews that we did was hilarious for those two albums because they were truly terrible. The album cover is terrible. The songs are terrible. The production
She was
and
like,
this, yeah, like I remember posting it up and somebody hit me up thinking that her feet was like to her head.
I thought so too.
Yo, that was bad, bad. That is worse than the first album. Is nothing on there I could play. There's nothing on there. Like it is truly her first. Out of all her albums, those two are her worst albums. Not Discipline. not 20 YO.
I agree.
That is off. Like even Unbreakable. I didn't care for a lot of those songs, but there's more playable shit on that album than her first two albums. Truly trash.
When your
And
weakest shit is, I don't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
When your weakest shit is your second album, your first two albums, and you drop a lot of dope work
Hmm.
after then, that's
Right.
saying something about the artist, at least.
I don't know too many artists that's done that.
Exactly.
She might be the only one where her first two were trash, and then she came back with nothing but classics consistently after that. That I don't think that's even been done in rap. Like name me a rapper that their first two albums are trash, and then they came back with classics after that. I don't know any of any of them.
Hmm. Hold on, I might have to come back to you on that one.
I don't know any of any ever. Not the '80s, not the '90s, not the 2000s.
First two albums trash.
It damn sure ain't Jadakiss. So you know,
I might have to come back to that. That's a
yeah,
good question.
yeah. I don't know any. Nope. It's not Cannabis. It's not Jada. You know,
That's a very good
Fuji's are the
question.
only one I like. They made a complete turnaround from the first album to the second one, where it was a classic. But other than the Fugees, I don't know anybody else that they had like a trashy first album and then came out with a classic after. You know?
But yeah, oh, it's on me.
Yeah.
Rick James, The Flag.
Oh wow.
See, I was close to putting Wonderful, because either album could have made this
Mm,
list, but at least
right.
Wonderful had a good single, Lucy's Rap.
Mm,
She just like, and I know he was going through his shit with Motown, but
right.
this is an example of an artist who just flagged it in and stuff like that. You know, when the label was fucking with them and shit like that. And I don't really like anything off this album. Funk in America, Say Little Man, trash. Freak Flag, trash. Slow and Easy, that was like probably the most decent track on this album. And even as a ballad, it wasn't touching Ebony Eyes or Fire and Desire, any of that. Like the album cover, it's just like what the fuck? Like I don't even know what he was doing with the album cover and shit. Like I
Right.
said, Wonderful is far from a masterpiece, but at least it has like Lucy's Rap I can fuck with and Sexual Love Affair on occasion,
Right.
but yeah, the flag was just not no go for me though.
No. Not LL. LL was making classics in the '80s. I ain't talking about LL. I'm talking about a artist that started off with trash and then started doing classics. Not had classics and then did trash later on. If that's the case, we could name a whole bunch of artists that was doing trash later on in their career. Not LL. I'm talking about like I don't know any rap artist that was making trash they first two and then were doing classics after.
Yeah, I can't think of a nobody right now.
You know, Janet might be the only one. She might be the only one. You know what I mean? Is crazy. I'm like yo, a lot of like I said, other than Michael, other than Michael and Janet's Control album, that was already her third album, but '80s was not kind to the Jacksons. It wasn't kind of Jermaine or the Jackson Five.
What's up, Georgie?
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I actually like some of Stevie's '60s albums and stuff like that. Like his first, the jazzy little soul of Stevie, the
Right.
My Sherry and More.
Classic.
Um, yeah, like since '60s, because you know he wrote his stuff himself, and Steve wrote a few artists to write his own stuff. So don't just focus on the classic period and stuff, guys. I would even check out 1970s Signed, Sealed, Delivered. That's very underrated. But this was a fun list.
Yep. We got to do 2000s next.
Oh my god, that might be a top 10
Top 10 worst 2000 albums, R&B albums.
because there's a lot of
Yeah.
90s R&B
That were
acts
great.
that did not transition into the 2000s as well.
Right.
We talk so much about 70s to the 80s. Hell, Boys to Men, ho ho,
Oh Lord.
the so-called greatest R&B group.
I don't like none of the albums in the 2000s. So
Me neither. I
they might be all on that list.
Yeah, I'm I'm gonna have to put two.
I don't like none
Um,
of this shit in 2000s.
who else? Who else? Well, En Vogue, but to me, En Vogue kind of did die in the late
Yeah,
'90s when Don left. So
yeah, yeah.
to an extent, yeah.
hmm
TLC. Well,
hmm
yeah, well, yeah, because yeah,
3D,
there's left,
3D wasn't good.
yeah, because Left Eye still was had an
Yeah,
active role on 3D. So
yes.
yeah, yeah, that
She
counts.
didn't finish a lot of the songs. That new edition Bad Boy album did not like it, but
Oh my, that
I
might be
don't
my number one.
even with that there's more worse shit than that can make my list. That wasn't there's some songs I like on that, but yeah, the Boyz II Men albums, nah. I didn't like none of that
Casey
shit.
and Casey and JoJo's ladies later shit. I was never really a
Yeah.
big fan when they went.
Yeah, me either. I wasn't
Unpopular. I'm tired of all my life. I'm so fucking
right.
tired of that song. And I
hmm
love Jodeci. I love Jodeci, but I hate that fucking song.
Right.
They play that fucking song. Like, yeah, I get it. But I'm sorry. Give me freaking you. Give me my heart
Yes.
belongs to you.
Yes. One of the
Forever,
best.
my fucking lady.
Yep.
Hell, the song on the Life soundtrack I like
hmm
over that one.
Life.
And I don't even like Life the movie.
What about
Um,
us?
Shantae Moore, I did like
Mhm.
her 2000 album. The
Okay.
I like that one. I like that
Right.
one. Shit. What's that R&B group? Drew Hill.
Drew Hill. Now I've never been a Drew Hill fan really like that.
Really? I could have sworn you were.
I like a couple of these songs. I don't have none of the albums. I just thought they were overrated. Never cared for them like that. I prefer Jodeci and Boyz II Men over them.
When it comes to their first album, that to me is an R&B classic.
Mm,
Second album I liked too. It was a near perfect album.
right.
But when they started relying on Cisco, and I did not like the thongs. I know we said we were going to review Cisco's debut album, but I
It's not something we need to do now.
yeah, because I want to talk at least talk about the first. I'm trying to get the first Drew Hill album
right.
because I know I have. I think I have either the second one. I know I have that, which
Um.
I can. Let me just have the first two Drew Hill. I'll be
You,
satisfied with that.
I'm putting next on that list. Both of
Oh,
their albums.
you bet your ass. Yeah.
The second one and the third one I'm putting on that fucking list.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't give a fuck.
Because to me only had
They
one
were.
good album. So yeah, that's going on that list.
I'm gonna go with John B. John B's
John B.
2003 album. I didn't like that one.
I like Pleasures You Like. The other albums after that in the 2000s, either I didn't hear or I heard and it wasn't great. So he wasn't relevant really at that time, and Donald Jones as well. A lot of his albums went on the radar. There's a lot of artists. you know,
Yeah, man.
um, a singer that had good albums in the 2000s, Alicia Keys. I think her albums were great. Musique Soul Child.
Well, she debuted in the 2000s and
Yeah.
shit. So
Well, I mean, her albums during that time to me were great. Musique Soul Child. He's underrated. Even Beyonce, I liked a couple of her albums. And I'm not a huge Beyonce fan, but I think she had some good albums during that time. Um, Jill Scott, definitely I liked her stuff. Erica Badu. There's a couple. It's not everybody, but there's a couple.
speaking of Jamie Foxx, have you ever heard of Jamie Foxx's '94 album "Keep This"?
Nah, I heard it was Insatiable.
Yeah,
That one I heard that one.
yeah, that "Keep This" album. That's some raw shit
It's
right
good.
there. I heard a good amount. I need to hear re-listen to it and shit,
Right.
but he's like in this red suit or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, his 2000 album with Unpredictable, that was good.
Yeah. Unpredictable, yeah. That joint.
Um,
I like more the neo soul stuff. John Legend. I liked a couple of his first albums. You know, I like the neo soul stuff that was coming out. To me, it was better than the actual R&B artists. You know.
Yeah. Hell, the Isaac Brothers came back hard in the 2000s.
Yeah. What is that? Was it Last Kiss? Not Last Kiss. What's that album?
Body Kiss.
Body Kiss. That's the one I got. Yeah, I like that album. R. Kelly was all over that album. That was a good one. Um,
Yeah, Eternal was good too.
yeah, that was a good one. I didn't hear all of the Prince stuff yet from the 2000s. I heard 3420 was it 3421?
Yeah, 3121 was
21
good.
30, yeah. That one I got. That one was good. I like the one we talked about, the Rave Unto the Joy. But all the other ones I haven't heard. I haven't heard Rainbow Children and I heard the last ones, like Kitten Run, those two volumes, I heard that, and the side group he had with the chicks, I heard that one. But like the middle two thought like musicology, I haven't heard that one yet. Rainbow Children, those albums I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, we definitely got to review Rainbow Children very
Yeah.
soon. Um, yeah, I'm running. I didn't mention Eternal. Yeah,
Usher, I liked, yeah, well, of course, Confessions was great. He had some great albums, 8701.
yeah,
Um yeah,
yeah, yeah. Usher was probably out of all the cats in the '90s, he was probably one of the best ones.
yeah,
Him and Brian McKnight were probably one of
right.
the best ones
Yeah.
to transition to 2000s.
hmm I agree.
Who else? Who else? What's that singer's name?
R. Kelly
Uh,
too. R. Kelly did his thing.
of course.
But not all his albums, like Untitled, I didn't care for. Black Panties was okay. It wasn't a great album. So some of his latter stuff I didn't care for the latter albums, but the early 2000s R. Kelly was great, definitely. TP2 to me is a classic. TP3 Reloaded, I love that one. Chocolate Factory was a great album. Best of Both Worlds, I like the first one with him and Jay.
I'd rather listen to Jadakiss album than that.
That is not a better album than that one. Mariah Carey, yeah, same thing with her. Like Emancipation to me was a classic album. I like EMC Square. That's really about it. I didn't like anything else after that.
Glitter was good.
Yeah, I didn't like that was 2000s.
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah, I didn't like that. No, that's going with the other shit I didn't care for. The fucking memoirs of Mimi and all that other shit.
I'm gonna stay on for probably another 5 minutes. 'Cause I gotta finish up some homework.
112. I like 112 stuff. It was underrated though. Hot and Wet was good. Forgot the other album. The other 112 album was good too. Part Three was good. Classic. One of my favorite 112 albums. Jagged Edge. They were good. I liked
Trash.
most of their albums. um, Let's Get Married and not Let's Get Married. J.E. Heartbreak and uh, Jagged Little Thrill. Forgot the name of the album after that. Those three were good. Charm Bracelet was okay. It wasn't great.
Yeah, this verse is gonna be something.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, man.
Blame Dupree for charm bracelet. Yeah,
So it ain't his fault. Wasn't that like her breakdown album? Or like after that she had the breakdown
it was around that time.
around that time?
You can
Yeah, I
say
mean
that.
she had some joints on there. I don't think it was like better than Mimi or EMC Square though. You know. 90s mafioso rap or early 90s conscious hip hop?
Mm.
90s mafioso rap, definitely.
Yeah, I'm going with Mafioso.
Then other than All for You to me is her best album in the 2000s. I think she just made decent albums after that. Demeter Joe was decent, and 20 YO. The Discipline was, I ain't like too many things off of that one, but I think All for Love, All for You was like her best album in the 2000s.
I can't argue with that. Some more white people shit.
Do you like conscious hip hop? I love all hip hop, all conscious hip hop, man. Everything except for mumble rap. Conscious hip hop is great. 60s Motown or 70s Philly soul. I like 70s Philly soul. What are you watching, Reg?
The show called Phil in the Future.
Oh boy, what is that? Is it an animated show or something?
It was like some Disney show from back in the day.
Favorite conscious hip hop artist? Chuck D.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Public Image Chuck D. Yep.
Better vocalist? Usher or Joe? I love
Ooh.
I love Usher.
Yeah, Usher.
But Joe is great too. Definitely great singer.
I'm about to make some tacos. What
Chris
about Chris?
Brown. I didn't listen to Chris Brown until Deuces came out. So all that early Chris Brown shit, I don't know none of that shit. That was when did Deuces come out? Like 09, 2010?
2010.
Yeah, that's when I started like checking out some of his stuff. I don't know none of his stuff before then.
New
New
Jack
Jack
Swing or
Swing.
Neo Soul.
New Jack Swing.
Yeah, can't go wrong. Can't deny New Jack Swing.
Keith Sweat is another singer. I didn't like none of his stuff in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Only the 90s stuff and then the LSG stuff. Trey Songz is cool. I don't think he's a great R&B artist though. He can sing. I think he's overrated. Yeah, I saw that. I saw Joe in concert already, but I definitely want to see Maxwell. Maxwell was good. He always managed to stay consistent. From the 90s to the 2000s, and I definitely want to hear Black Summer's Night Volume 3 when that drops. It's long overdue. Hopefully it's good. I know he dropped the first single last night, so I'm looking forward to that Maxwell album. Worst Talib album? I don't know. He got a couple. Got a couple of those joints I don't like.
Yeah, Talib. Probably the gutter rainbows or whatever you call that shit.
That was your favorite
Whoa, wait, worse? Oh,
verse?
beautiful struggle.
See, I
Like I
like
said,
that one.
it could have been a couple.
What's that shit? Didn't he have one called Radio Silence or some shit? I didn't like that one.
At that point, I think I just stopped listening.
That prisoner album was trash. Didn't I like that one? Yeah, you got a couple. Sam said some New Jack Swing sounds boring to you. With who? What artist?
Yeah, New Jack Swing, man. What do you think was like the last great New Jack Swing album?
Shit. I want to say maybe Blackstreet another level,
Hmm?
and that was 96.
Interesting. Okay.
I can't think of any other New Jack shit after that. It was. I mean, do you consider Queen Pen New Jack?
Mm,
No.
I guess.
Queen Pen first album was dope. I think she got slept on. She had some joints on her second album, but after Black Sheep's second album, it wasn't. It was like a shift in music, so you didn't really have New Jack Swing out there like that anymore. You know,
Right.
um, the worst Most Def album. I don't think he got one.
Blasphemy.
What's his worst album?
You don't got one.
Yeah, exactly. The Roots worst album. Anything after um, I don't even know. Do they have a worst album?
I considered the cousin, the Who Shot Your Cousin,
Yeah,
whatever. I didn't
I
like
didn't.
that one.
I didn't like that one. Undone. It was bland for me. A lot of the latter albums after Chronology, I didn't really care for. Um, Game Theory was cool. It's not one of their best, but it has some joints in there. Anything after like Game Theory and Chronology, I didn't care for. And some of those albums I own, but they're not like great Roots albums.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm about to call it a night because I gotta work on my thesis and shit. Alright, but this has been fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely y'all check out that Silk Sonic album. I was thinking, I wanted to see what your thoughts on this Summer Walker album one day.
Yeah, I never heard Summer Walker or none of her stuff, so I'll definitely check that out.
Yes, sir. And I know everyone's asking me about the whole Kanye and Drake thing. I'm just like, yeah,
I mean, if it's real, if it's a real like beef that ended, then that's great. I would like to see them work again together because they have worked on some before together.
yeah,
If they're just doing this for publicity, I think it's stupid. They don't need it at this point. You know.
yeah. People calling this the biggest beef in hip hop. I'm just like,
Oh, come on, stop it.
okay,
We never got a chance to see Pac and Big squash they beef, so
right,
and that was bigger.
for real. But got a few announcements. So Thursday, 8 o'clock. We got to do this whole watch party for this verses and shit. Or
Right.
excuse me, attempted, because I always gotta say attempted when doing this shit, so that way I can
Mhm.
still keep this shit on.
Right.
So yeah, that's gonna be Shaka and Stephanie Mills. And then also 11:40, 11:30, we about to get crunk
Yeah.
with this shit right here, crunk juice. Really cannot wait to talk about this. Um, Next week is still Eclipse week, right? Next week.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
November 25th. We are talking about Lord Willing. One of my favorites. I don't know what Reg is thinking. You
you
guys
said
nigga
November
got me out
25th.
of retirement. You got me out of retirement. I thought I was done with album reviews. You got me out of retirement just to do this album review.
Oh, we're doing this on Thanksgiving.
Is November 25th was Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
No, the the Tuesday we gonna do it.
What time
We,
on Tuesday?
your regular time when you're off of work, your regular time.
I did. 'Cause I don't, and I'm off on Tuesday, so that's why
You
I
off on
said we
Tuesday?
could.
Oh, we could do early then. I thought you was gonna be working then, so we could push it up to like the afternoon or something.
If
And huh?
Yeah, if I'm not watching cause I watch my grandma, so
Okay,
probably like early evening, I guess.
right, like 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
And then Sunday, we're gonna discuss Hell Hath No Fury on your channel because that's the actual day of the anniversary for the album. So it all
yeah,
fits in.
oh yeah,
See, this was
and
meant to be. You was talking shit about Lord willing, and I just God said we gotta talk about it. So
right. And this Sunday we're talking about Cube's War and
yes,
Peace series and stuff like that.
yes,
You know, I want to say, Trevor, I'm gonna be listening to it, and before I really call it
I don't know
trash.
about we got movie stuff is coming. I'm a very busy person. I'm doing shit like all over the place. It's gonna happen when it happens. Just stay tuned.
Shit, y'all want everything for.
You know what I'm saying? I'm doing shit on Instagram. I'm doing shit for other podcasts and stuff coming up. It's gonna happen. Just stay tuned. I can't tell you no date when shit is gonna happen. Just subscribe. If you ain't subscribed to the channel, then you're not gonna know. Donnie Brasco, all that is gonna come at some point. I don't have no date for that. That's gonna come at some point.
Yeah. Other than that, like I said, this has been fun as fuck. Appreciate this, bro, as
No doubt.
usual. And I will see y'all later.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.